You ever get that gut feeling that something's wrong, but you can't prove it yet? That's where I was 6 months ago. My wife, Lauren, and I had been married for 6 years. We met in college, built a life together from scratch, and for the most part, things were good, or so I thought. Then, little by little, something changed. She started acting distant. Her phone, which used to sit face up on the table, was now always upside down. She'd go on girls' nights and come home late, avoiding eye contact. I'm not the jealous type, but when you've spent years with someone, you can feel when they start to detach. And that's what happened. She detached. The first red flag was when I found a folder on our shared laptop labeled personal legal. It was password protected, which wasn't normal for her. I didn't try to break in, I just took note. Then I noticed she'd started visiting her sister more, a sister who, conveniently, had just gone through a messy divorce. And then one night, I overheard a phone call. No, I haven't told him yet. I need to get everything lined up first. She didn't know I was in the hallway. My stomach dropped. After that, I started paying closer attention. Bank statements, credit card activity. Everything looked off. She'd opened a new checking account in her own name. She'd stopped depositing her paycheck into our joint account. And the part that really got me? She started asking oddly specific questions. What's the password to the brokerage account again? How much is left on your 401k? Do you still have that account at Chase? I'd answer vaguely, but my brain was already screaming, she's preparing to leave. Now, I'm not a confrontational guy. I didn't want to accuse her without proof, but I also wasn't about to be blindsided, so I did what any calm, logical person would do. I called a lawyer. I explained everything, the secret bank account, the strange phone calls, the late nights. The lawyer didn't even hesitate. She's probably preparing to file. You need to make sure your personal assets are properly documented and protected. He wasn't telling me to hide money. He was telling me to make sure my premarital assets and individual accounts were clearly separate. So I gathered every bit of paperwork I could find, property titles, investment records, tax returns, and locked them away somewhere safe. I opened a separate account for my personal income, fully legal and disclosed, and I stopped automatically transferring everything into our shared one. I also updated my passwords for everything. For 2 weeks, I acted normal, smiled, cooked dinner, played the part. Meanwhile, I was quietly gathering evidence, screenshots of messages she left open, timestamps from her late nights, even a few voice memos from conversations that felt rehearsed. Then came the night she made her move. Lauren came home from work, all smiles. "Hey, babe," she said, "can we talk?" Instantly, my stomach tightened. She sat me down and gave me the speech. "I think we've grown apart. You've been distant lately. I don't think you're happy. I've already spoken to a lawyer. We can make this easy." I didn't interrupt. I just nodded and said, "Okay." She looked relieved, like she expected me to beg or fight. Then she slid a folder across the table. "This is what I think is fair." Inside were draft divorce papers, and that's when I realized she'd already decided everything. I looked through the papers, pretending to read. She'd written herself in for the house, half my savings, and even part of an inheritance from my late dad, which legally wasn't marital property. When I finished, I closed the folder and said quietly, "You've really thought this through." She smiled a little. "It's better this way. No drama." That's when I told her, "You might want to call your lawyer back." She blinked. "What do you mean?" I leaned back, calm as ever. "Because you're not getting the house, my inheritance, or any of the accounts that aren't marital. I already spoke to my attorney 2 weeks ago." Her face dropped. "You what?" "Yeah," I said. "I had a feeling you were planning something. So I made sure everything was documented and protected. Legally, every cent is accounted for. Nothing hidden. But you're not walking away with what isn't yours." She went pale. "You're overreacting." I wasn't. I interrupted. "Then why were you drafting divorce papers behind my back?" Silence. Then came the tears, the same ones she'd probably practiced in the mirror. That night, she packed a bag and went to her sister's. I didn't chase her, didn't yell, didn't text. A few days later, I got a message from her lawyer. The tone was suddenly polite. Apparently, her proposal had been withdrawn. By then, I'd already filed for separation myself on my terms. The difference between being blindsided and being prepared? 2 weeks. A month later, a friend of mine sent me screenshots from Lauren's private Instagram. She'd posted a quote about karma and men getting what they deserve. But the irony? Her secret checking account had been opened using her work email at a company that monitors employee financial misconduct. HR found out, and she lost her job over misuse of company resources. Karma, indeed. I didn't celebrate. Honestly, I just felt calm. People always say divorce brings out the worst in you. I think it just reveals who people really are. Lauren showed me that when things got tough, she'd rather scheme than talk. And me? I learned that sometimes the best revenge is simply being prepared. Now, months later, I'm rebuilding quietly, peacefully, and if I ever sense that gut feeling again, I'll trust it.